Hi there. This is Rick Gottlieb, and this has been a long time in coming. What I'm presenting to you today is, I guess, the debut of my first guitar build, which is a Martin Style Triple O cutaway with 14 frets, scale of 24.9 inches from nut to saddle. And I have named this instrument Perseverance because of the fact that, frankly, putting together your very first guitar with all that goes with it, especially when you have virtually no background in woodworking, is an exercise in perseverance. But let's hear what it sounds like. Now, right now, I'm performing in front of using a Focusrite iTrack stereo microphone. And it's strictly coming through the microphone and going into my iPhone 6 Plus. That's what's going on right now. Now, I've also added to Percy, as I like to call him, a pickup, a LR Baggs Lyric pickup, which is really, in many ways, a microphone, for lack of a better word. So I've adjusted the Focusrite so that it can hear both the stereo signal into the microphone itself, as well as from the pickup. So you'll hear the click. You'll now hear what it sounds like through both the pickup and the microphone. Now, a couple of things that make this guitar kind of an experiment of sorts is what I used in order to build it. The back and sides, are a hardwood known as bloodwood, which is actually a relatively dense, heavy wood, exotic wood. The neck is made out of solid mahogany. The top is Adirondack spruce. But what makes it, I think, unique to me is what I used between the wood and the strings. Namely, if you look very closely, you will see that the nut is made, in fact, out of brass. And more than that, that there are slots between each of the strings. Additionally, if you look at the saddle, you'll see that the saddle itself is also made out of solid brass, and there are slots between it, and that the bridge pins, in fact, are also made out of brass. What you can't see is the fact that underneath the bridge plate, or underneath the bridge itself, is a bridge plate and a bridge plate protector that itself is made out of brass, of course, which should make a very bright sound. And when I told other luthiers in my area that I was doing this, they kind of looked at me, why are you doing that? And it comes down to the way I play guitar, which is to say that as you can see, I'm not using any thumb picks or finger picks. I'm not using a guitar pick, a plectrum, and I play with the tips of my fingers as opposed to the nails. So I get a lot more bass response out of it. Now, why the slots? Okay. The reason is that I had learned through my experience of owning other guitars that if you have a solid nut and a solid saddle, that there will tend to be a bit of crosstalk, so that when you hit, say, just one string alone, it will also start to create sympathetic vibration, particularly if you're playing in DAD-GAD tuning, which has 3 strings in D and 2 strings in A. It'll start to vibrate in sympathy with one another. But here, as you can tell, there's a lot more sustain, because all of the, and there's a lot less what's called crosstalk as a result of that. Let's see, what else can I say? The headstock, as you can see, I put in an inlay of Kokopelli instead of playing a flute, which sounds ridiculous, playing a guitar, of course. And the buttons on the Gotoh tuners are also made out of, you guessed it, bloodwood. So let's hear what it sounds like. I'm going to be using a Thalia capo and give you an idea as to what it sounds like playing one of my tunes in fingerstyle guitar. For those people that are interested, I've also added to the instrument, you can probably see that there's this little dot at the back end of the bridge. I've actually installed what's called a bridge doctor, which essentially transfers the tension that's the bridge is subject to mechanically to the back and sides of the guitar. Normally it's used when there's some bellying of the lower bout. I chose not to do that. In other words, I chose to not even have that risk. Why? I could have just depended upon glue, and the glue that I used was LMI yellow guitar maker's glue to do the trick, and it probably would have done the trick, but I don't trust myself. So I put in a bridge doctor, so this is not only glued chemically, but it's also affixed mechanically to the guitar itself. In other words, so long as the guitar isn't bashed around against a wall, I expect that the instrument will probably outlive my great-grandchildren. This is a tune I did on my second album, Sedona Sunrise. Not bad, huh? So this has been my first guitar. Yeah, first guitar. And as is well known, the absolute maximum number of guitars that you can have is just one more. And to that end, I'm actually now building my second guitar, which, if this is a kind of a Martin knockoff, as it were, I'm now working on a Taylor knockoff, namely based upon my Taylor 12 fret, which will also have, I'll be providing pictures of that as well. So this is Rick Gottlieb.